So on the night before Christmas Eve, as I was doing my going to sleep routine, which for me, I do a breathing, relaxing, trying to, if there's spots that need a little extra attention, sort of send some healing energy there. I also do a mind review, I call it a day review, just kind of see, revisit the day and see if there's any places where, especially forgiveness, where I screwed up or I reacted or someone pushed my button. I just go through, okay, and let them go, see if there's anything I need to do externally to clean that up. Most of the time it's just for me to let it go, and then I just kind of let my mind begin to drift. And as I was in that process, a very clear thought caught my attention. Sometimes the loud ones, they go, and you're like, oh, I need to pay attention to that. And it was the statement, "You are blessed and highly favored." Now, that's not typically part of my thought process. So I paid attention because it was not something I'd normally be thinking about. And then I started thinking, I think that came from Mary's birth story. And then I had to later go check it out because I wasn't raised with a real memorized knowledge of the Bible. So actually it does come from that place where Mary is discovering that she is going to be carrying the Messiah. It was what an angel said to Mary, that you are highly favored. God has found high favor with you. And my next thought was, well, I'm not so sure I would consider myself blessed and highly favored. Although it would help if an angel showed up, that I was going to give birth to the Messiah. And here's how my mind works. I was like, how do you raise a child like that? Do you put them in time out, or God forbid spank them when they're in their terrible twos? And, I'm assuming Jesus got to experience the human part of life too. What about during those teenage rebellion years? How do you support, if you will, this growing Messiah? We're told, in fact, it's one of the only stories we have of Jesus after he was born to when he started his ministry at 30 years old, of an incident where the family goes to Jerusalem to Passover when he was 12. Maybe this was the first year he was allowed to go as a young man. And as the family left, and there was a big caravan of family members. They were like a day into their journey back to their home and realized Jesus wasn't with them and had to go back to the temple. And it took them a couple days to find him at a temple, sitting there showing off to the priests that were and the rabbis that were there. What do you do? I mean, do you ground him? Do you yell at him? Do you go, oh, look at our boy, being God in expression already at 12? This idea that you are blessed and highly favored was something that wasn't just for me. I was told that this is what I was being called to share with you. For just like Mary, you are also energetically giving birth to the Christ. And yes, it will be challenging. There may be some times where your guidance says you're going to give birth in this way, and you go, no, I would rather do something different. Can we renegotiate how that's supposed to look? But that's what we're being called, each of us, all the time, to give birth to this. This is the time of year where we tend to focus on it. We look at what we're going to step into the new year as. We look forward to it. We see it as, in many ways, a clean slate. And today in our white stone ceremony, it's our opportunity to discern what aspect of the Christ is seeking to be expressed through each of us into our world. Because as we are ever-evolving beings, how we show up in the world is ever-evolving, and we are called into greater and greater ways to show up as different aspects of that Christ. In this past week, many of you participated in our Burning Bowls ceremony, where we symbolically released everything that was no longer serving us, and then began to vision how we wanted to fill the kinds of experiences, the kinds of things that we want to do and we want to have in this upcoming year. I imagine for those who participated, you wrote down things that you wanted to both have and do and experience, whether it was in relationships or health or your career, or perhaps how you were going to really step into this retirement time, prosperity, spiritual growth, across the gamut. But this particular ceremony asks you to explore beyond having and doing, asking the question of who do you want to be in 2025? What God or Christ or divine, if you like that word better, quality do you want to give birth to in a greater way in order to bring that into our world? In a few minutes, we're going to move into a time of quiet inquiry, to listen, because it's not something that the ego directs us, but it's something that we want to open ourselves to allow the spirit or the soul or that highest wisdom that lies within us to guide us and to allow us to express ourselves in a new way. It's the inner wisdom. And we're going to be looking for what word or what quality shows up for each of us. Each of you should have, as I mentioned earlier, selected a white stone on your way in. If you still don't have one, if you'd raise your hand, somebody will bring you a basket. Everybody good? Oh, we got one over here. And you need a marker too or something to write down with. You can do it in pen if you want to initially and then decorate it however you want to. And for those watching at home, just if you don't have a stone, just have a piece of paper and something to write with near you. And then you can find something that you'd like to inscribe it on later. So the white stone is an ancient ritual. In Jesus' day, when someone served time in prison or in bondage of some kind, they were given a white stone when they were released. When they had served their time, they were given this stone as a symbol of their freedom, as not only there, but as society was there to support them in a fresh start. And so this white stone, symbolically at least, promised a new life. It was the symbol of a clean slate and was the custom of the times when the Bible was written. When one was set free from prison, they were given this stone to carry with them as proof for anybody to see that they had completed their obligation and they were free to go and to be and to do whatever they were being called in life. And whatever has gone on in the past, it was an opportunity to let it all go, which is part of what the burning bowl ceremony is. It's a symbol of our willingness and agreement to live in this new beginning and not live from our past. It's the moment where we can know that we are free from whatever prison that we might have put ourselves in or our life circumstances may have left us in. Over the years, I've received something different each year. Sometimes it's just one word. I've got all my little stones up. Well, I don't have all of them, but I have a good many of them up here. I've had words come up like flow or authentic joy or spiritual support. Sometimes I've gotten two words, faith and oneness, or trust and willing, heartfelt communication and vision. Last year, my word was empowering, and I wasn't sure exactly what that was going to look like, how that was going to show up, but it became my guiding energy when I was looking at what I was going to do or how I was going to serve, in particularly this ministry. As I sat a few days ago to listen for my word this year, because it's hard for me to lead and listen at the same time, I received a new one, and it was a long one. I had to look it up to make sure I knew how to spell it. It was metamorphosis. And I had this vision as the word came, not of the beautiful caterpillar to the butterfly, but of the beetle to the dragonfly. Did you know that that happens? That out of beetles, it has that same process of metamorphosis that happens within, and then a dragonfly emerges. So as you are open to whatever words might show up today, just be willing to be open to what arises in your mind, to not necessarily question it. And if you don't receive anything, it doesn't mean that you get to skip this part. Doesn't mean that you're immune this year and you're not required to continue your own spiritual growth process. It just means that it may take some time for it to emerge, perhaps later today or tomorrow. All of a sudden, and you will know. It will just arise and you will know. That's my word. So I would invite you now to go ahead and take your stone into your hand. Just take a moment to sort of look at it and look at its shape and feel its smoothness. And then whenever you're ready, you can begin to turn your attention inward. You may want to close your eyes. Take a deep and relaxing breath. And as you tune in to that wisdom that lives at the very center of you, and feel this white stone in your hand, hear that divine part of you reminding you that you are indeed blessed and highly favored. You have been chosen. You are awake too. This journey, just as Jesus journeyed it, to awaken and to live and to be the Christ in expression. Take that into your heart. See if you can, with mind, body, emotion, and spirit, know this is a truth. I invite you to trust in this now moment, as Spirit gives you in this sacred place, in this moment of truth, an insight into your divine purpose, an insight into your holy essence. So in that secret place of the Most High, you can allow these words being spoken to be the words of your own heart. I let go. I let God guide this moment. And in that, I experience a sense of freedom and an opportunity to live more fully. I release the limitations of the past, those old beliefs that I thought were law. And I surrender now into the law of God's love and grace. I imagine myself leaving whatever prison I may have created, the prison of limitation, leaving behind the shackles of negative thinking. And I can see this door opening before me, and I walk through to freedom, to a new beginning. I'm handed a white stone, and it reminds me that I am free. I have a new identity. And I am now open to a life of unlimited possibilities. I allow my truest and highest, most glorious self to emerge. I reflect and I meditate on a new name, a new word that I am called to be in this new year. And so I listen. I listen knowing that the word is already written on my heart, trusting and knowing that in the perfect time it will come into my awareness. I listen now as we spend a few moments in the silence. And whether you've received in this moment that word or not, feel a sense of gratitude as it flows through you, as it flows through this sacred space where we are gathered. As we can feel the aliveness of evolution in process, of inspiration, of becoming, of birthing. Birthing a new you, new ways of making a difference, new ways of calling forth heaven on earth. For there is no limit to God's love in you and as you, to God's strength in you and as you, to be that. And as you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes and to write your word upon your stone if you've received it. And if not, don't worry, you will. You will hear it in the perfect moment, in the right time. And when you're ready, you can bring your attention back. You know, I like to keep these white stones someplace where I can see them, where I can remember, oh yeah. You know, a few months down the road, I'm supposed to be empowering, and to begin to remind myself of that. Or I'm supposed to be faith or willingness or trust or whatever the word is for you. And realize that this word is not something that you have to do. It's the freedom of what you are able to do. It's the possibilities to live differently and to live a more fulfilling life, to connect and to consciously co-create with the God of your being. You know, our kids are starting the Wizard of Oz curriculum today, and on their journey, and we'll get to go along with it, to discover what Dorothy ultimately discovered, that while we sometimes believe our good lies somewhere out there, somewhere just over the rainbow, over in that place where I can't quite get to, it's actually right here, right where we are. Right where we call ourselves as home. When we awaken to this awareness that God is within us, we are indeed home. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this community. So let us join and bless that and bless what we offer today, how we support this community, and the many channels of good that flow in and through and to us. Together, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Why don't we go ahead and stand up together, join hands, and let's do our peace song.
And as we go into this day, into this week, into this year, knowing and being and expressing who we have truly been called to be, we go knowing our prayer for protection. We'll do it as a call and response. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us. Together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right.
Okay.